everybody. Welcome to my hillside urban garden. Today we're going to talk about houseplants. So I have a couple houseplants that I do have. I don't have the best luck sometimes with houseplants, but there's a couple of them that I would recommend that even for the person who doesn't do well with houseplants, I think it's a good start. And believe it or not, one of them is an African violet. So this African violet, it's probably about 5 years old I've had it. I purposely have not watered it for about 2 months. Yes, I said 2 months, no water. Because one of the things that I have learned about African violets is that you have to treat them like a succulent. They do not need very much water. So you can see with the African violets, when you look at the leaves and stuff like that, that they have this very thick stem here. Well, that stem, it saves and holds the water to keep it alive for a very long time. So if you overwater it, like once a week, even, that it will die. It's just too much water. And that has always been my mistake with these plants. So I'm here to tell you and show you how to take care of an African violet, and I hope that these little tricks do work for you. So again, to start, these really are a drought-tolerant plant. I keep my African violets in a north-facing window, even through the winter time. So in my north-facing window, underneath that window is a heater vent. So in the winter time, yes, it may be cold outside by the window, but the heater vent keeps the warm air coming. So it seems the African violets will do well in the winter time in a situation like that. They do not like direct hot sun. They don't do well. It burns the leaves. I think it's too much of a harsh environment for an African violet. So I would stick with either east or north facing windows for your African violet. And they do need some light. They need to have access to some light, just not direct hot sunlight. So. And then after that, you want to go ahead and fertilize it. I water my African violet no more than once a month. And I let it tell me when it needs to have water. So you can see how these leaves are kind of curling under, see, or curling in, kind of all over, right? See, like this one here. So when they start to do that, they're starting to tell you, I need some water. This one, of course, has gone probably a couple weeks longer than it should have to be watered, but I did want to be able you to really see what it looks like when it's telling you, please water me. Now, to water these plants, there's a couple different avenues that you can take. Some people do not believe in direct watering on top, like on top of the soil. Some people say you should just water it from underneath. I have found that if it's super dry, I will put a little bit of water on the top just to moisten the top soil, but then I will water it mostly from the bottom because it will bring up the water to its leaves and to the plant that way. And then every time I water it, I do fertilize it because it's watered so, which is something is different than succulents. Succulents you really don't want to fertilize. But with house plants such as African violets, a good fertilizer directly for the plant is really a good idea. And since we don't water it that often, I just go ahead and whatever I water it, I put some fertilizer in there. So the fertilizer that I use is just specifically for African violets. The brand on this is, it's a bonide, and it's a liquid African violet plant food. It works really well. It's water soluble, which means that I'm going to put it into the water, and then it's just gonna dissolve, which is pretty cool. And what's next? So fertilize it every time, and I said no more than once a month. Hey, set a reminder on your phone. Time to water the houseplants, or at least check on them, right? But if you look at it and just look and peek it, you do want to give it a good drink. Now this African violet, as you can see, because we have, you can hear them, they're kind of dry. The flowers have come and gone, but you can see I got a pretty good bloom out of it this year. This one's really pretty. It has like a dark purple edge on a pink flower, so it's pretty cool looking. So At this stage of the game, when it's flowered and I'm going to water it, so I'm going to touch it, going to be doing things, I'll look for to deadhead. So I'll be getting the flowers off, or if you can see here, like I've got a leaf right here that's dead. So what you want to do is just clean up. It might take you maybe 30 seconds to go through and clean up the plant very, very quickly, and just discard and throw the leaves away. So those are my hips and tips for the plant. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to clean it up, and we're going to fertilize it. So before I do any kind of watering, the watering I'm going to do very last. We're going to clean up the plant. So the best thing to do is I just use my fingers kind of as a pinch. So I will hold it and just kind of pull, and you can see they come right out. So I'm just going to get it, and I'm just going to pull, and they come right out. So I'm going to go through here, and we're just going to clean it up. Just going to take out all these dead, and what that's going to do is that's going to promote it to go into kind of hopefully bloom mode again. Some people like to keep the dried flowers, put them in arrangements. You can certainly do that as well. So there we go. As you can see, I've got all of the dried flowers out, and we'll just discard those. And now I'm going to look at the leaves. Now see, this one looks a little bit kind of funky and peaked. So I'm going to go in there, and to take the leaves off, I'm going to take my index finger, go all the way to the stem of the plant, and then just press on it and use my fingernail, and we're just going to get it off. I see we've got a couple other dead leaves here. We're just going to go through again down towards the stem, which you can take your finger or your fingernail, just cut them off. We'll go through here. We'll see if any more. This one's not too. This one's kind of getting yellow. We'll take that one off. Oh, I see another yellow one. So we're just going to go through here, and I'm just going to, you notice I'm just turning the plant. I'm just turning it, and we're just going through to see which ones we want to take off. And remember, when you take off leaves that are beyond their prime, it's only going to help the plant. And you want to look in there and see if anything has dropped, to get any kind of debris. Oh, there's a really old one. And I see another one here. And just keep turning it till it looks like you want it to look. So I'll go around here and make sure that's looking good. So, with African violets, you can turn them like this, see? And you just get it in the shape that you want. Take off the leaves that don't look good anymore, I should say. Okay, so we've got, as you can see, we've got all the dead-headed flowers, and we've got all the old leaves that we took off. So now it's ready to be watered. So for African violets, also for me, the best luck that I've had is that it's not in a pot by itself. It's always a two-pot method. So this pot here has no drainage, but the plant itself is in a plastic pot. You see, it's so dry it comes right out. I'll get this one out. Let's see. There we go. So I've got its original plastic pot here that has the drainage holes. See that? So see how it's so dry it just came right out, but I can see some roots in there. So you can also you can take it out and clean it like that if you want as well. But typically, what I do is I just take it out of my pot that I keep it in. Usually I would call this a decorative pot. And then I'm going to water it by putting water in the bottom here. So let's do that. Now, for your fertilizer, do not use a glass, a cup, a container that you use for food. It's really best just to keep something specific. This is an old olive jar, and I just cleaned it out, stuck it through the dishwasher, and I just keep it underneath the sink, and I use this to water my plants. So, and because I'm always going to put fertilizer in it, so I'm going to shake it up just a little bit. I'm going to put a couple of squeezes in there, so I can get it to come out. Come on. So you can see it going in there. And you put a couple good squeezes, and there we go. And then you can see it's turned color a little bit, and that's it. A couple squeezes of fertilizer. Now I'm going to put in here probably an inch of water. This is pretty dry. So I'll put about an inch of water at the bottom there, and I will place the plant back in there. And then what it's going to do, the plant is going to take up the water from the roots. So put it in there, goes down. Remember I said also when it's really dry, I will go ahead and put some water on the top, just to keep it moist, just to have the moisture coming from both sides. So try not to get the water on the leaves if you can. because it can leave marks. So it's very easy. See, just pull up the leaves like this, and you just want to put a little bit of water in there. So there's one side, and I'll do the other side. So there we go. That's the fertilizer, and that's it. And you have another African violet, and I'll use this for that. So on this particular one here, what we're going to do is that I'm going to let it sit, and then I'll check on it in a couple of hours or even tomorrow. And if there's any water still down at the bottom that it has not absorbed, I will dump that out. African violets do not like being sitting in water. Just like any other succulent, right? You don't want it sitting in something that is wet and damp all the time because it doesn't do well. So I'll check on it maybe tonight before I go to bed or tomorrow, and we'll see what it looks like. And I'll also post a picture. I'll post a picture at the end here to show you how it kind of rehydrated and how nice it looks. So if you have any other questions, please leave a comment down in the comment section down there. Any questions, and I can go ahead and answer those for you. I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. And always remember, be safe in the garden. Don't always wear your hat and your sunscreen when you're outside. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye.